I was fairly young when I got pregnant. So like 19 years old, me and my husband. And I had my baby and everything was fine. I've always been very fit. And she was about 6 months old and I took her out on a trampoline and I did a toe touch. And I'll never forget, I came down and had wet my pants. And I also felt like my stomach was going to fall out between my legs. And I remember just being so shocked because I didn't ever feel like I always felt like my body was put together. And I did not feel like it was put together. And that was the first moment, even after having my baby, that I felt like I did not have a body that was keeping everything where it should be. So I remember grabbing her and going inside and calling my mom and telling her what happened, and she was just like, well, that's just what happens. Fast forward, kid 4, kid 5, still not getting on the trampoline. Still, I was fairly young still. So I felt like I attribute that to also my, quickly healing aspect of it. Still very active. But then I started to realize that I would sneeze and then I was having leaking. And so then I would start sneezing and I would start bringing my legs together or crossing my legs, or I would do a glute squeeze, anything just to kind of keep it tight in there so that I could finish sneezing. Many years later, had another child and realized that my pelvic floor was not young anymore and I needed to do some work on it. But that was for myself. Learning that this was a thing was when I went to physical therapy assistant school. They touched on it, which was about 2014 at school. And I remember thinking, oh my goodness, there's a lot more to this than I knew, more than just a pelvic lift, using that cueing pelvic lift. There's layers of the muscles and it matters which ones you get. And it matters how you Kegel and how long you can Kegel. So not only did I learn about the contraction, but I learned about the endurance. But that is when, after my 7th child, I did have a little bit of prolapse. And it again was like, oh my gosh, I worked so hard. But the good news is by the time I went in for my 6-week checkup, I started Kegeling 3 days after I had him. And she was like, oh, it's all back where it was before. So I was very happy with that. But I did have to learn how to Kegel again after having him. I think my pelvic floor was just so worn out, and stretched that the first time sitting on the toilet after I had him, I went to go start Kegeling and it's like I had lost it. I didn't know how to find it again. So I had to kind of reteach myself how to do it again and then just start the whole process again, Number 1 is any leaking is not normal. So if you have any leaking at all, it could be as simple as, you just need to learn how to do Kegels and to do them right. And that's probably the biggest thing. And to also empower them by that, right? So you don't have to always be worried about not jumping on a trampoline or carrying an extra pair of underwear in your purse or these days you can even buy underwear that, or wearing a pad, right? Or even buy underwear that if you have leaking, it's like, oh, it will just, soak it up for you. That's just kind of enabling the problem. I think it's great if you have that problem and then you're working to get away from that. But that to me, says that we're kind of accepting it as a society. And for me, I don't want women to feel like that is something that they have to live with. And not necessarily, from having children. For me, it was having children. There are women out there who, and even athletes, Olympic athletes have weak pelvic floors with impact, usually runners, gymnasts, impact exercises, but just to empower them that they can actually do something about it, to fix it, and to actually watch a movie with their family and laugh, or go on a hike, or jump on the trampoline, and to enjoy the things that, they would like to enjoy. And that those muscles are just as important as your bicep muscle, that they need to be, they need to be addressed as well. So for me, that's kind of been, that's where I basically got a passion for it, because it took me years to come full circle around to figure out, oh, this is what, this means. And this is what I need to have so that I can go do that stuff with my kids. And not just your kids, but also, just pelvic health overall. When it comes to any kind of like your sex life, urinating, any of that stuff that happens down there.